Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am getting hungry. I am ready to go eat something, but I decided I'd go ahead and do this video before I do. This has been an interesting day, to say the least. Jeannie hit it right here. XRP, like it says, if you can't handle me during a 40% drop, you don't deserve me with 1,000% gains. That's kind of how I think on days like today. I can't remember what Baron Rothschild, this is what he said, and we've used this one on this channel a lot over the years. Buy when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. That is such a good point. Now, I said today, days like today are the days that the money is made. These are the days that the big timers, the institutional people, these are the times that they're doing the buying, when the blood is in the streets. This is why, I mean, this is as old as time. The money is made by people who buy when there's blood in the streets. And hopefully, in most people out there's case, there were people had stuff sitting on the sidelines where they could take advantage of it. I personally had some sitting on the sidelines in my IRA. I'm about to show you what I bought. It will surprise you what I bought. And I'll explain to you why. But I did not have money sitting in my taxable account ready to go. If I had, I probably would have bought XRP or XLM, to be honest, but I did not buy those two today. I would have if I had cash sitting there in a second. In fact, if these prices stay where they are, I will have some cash ready in the next day or so, and I will be buying XRP or XLM or both. No question about it. Okay, but this reply right here caught my attention. This is a CNBC article which I went and decided to pull. Big institutional investors are dumping Bitcoin and going back into gold, JP Morgan says. Don't forget, as my father, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, always says, nothing happens with gold without Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. It's still true. It's true today. It's true tomorrow, and it'll be true probably 50 years from now, because these are the, quote, powers that be. And these guys, I don't care what they call it, these guys know what's going to happen before it happens. That's how it works. That's Wall Street. Okay? So, and remember what's happened for the last 5 or 10 years. The central banks have been buying gold. And I told you on this channel what I thought really Bitcoin was about a long time ago. I tell you all the time. I believe Bitcoin was created by probably a collection of governments, but at least one government. I haven't always thought that. I've kind of come to that realization over the last year or two. I believe it was created by governments, and I believe it was created by governments for a specific reason, to drive the inflation that they knew they were going to create by all their money printing and QE and all that business that they've done for over 10 years now. They wanted to drive it into a place that would be sold to the people as being this place where people could hide money when they knew that they couldn't hide money. So when the inflation occurred, remember, these governments hate physical gold for you and for me. They love it for themselves, but they don't want you and me to buy physical gold. So what they do is they create this digital asset. They put out in the media that this thing's for money laundering, it's for terrorists, it's for the bad guys. They convince the world that money can be hidden in this when they know that it can't. They know that it's imminently trackable. So the inflation goes to there. Meanwhile, with the other hand, they're buying physical gold for the central banks. Okay, makes sense? Now, JP Morgan, do you think they know? I've told you proof of work doesn't work for years now. Okay, I've told you it was never Bitcoin. Now, so Bitcoin, now I've told you proof of work doesn't work, but you don't have to take my word for it. This is JP Morgan on May the 12th, just a few days ago, from Zero Hedge. on why Ethereum's better than Bitcoin. Ethereum 2.0 shifts from an energy-intensive proof-of-work validation mechanism to a much less intensive proof-of-stake validation mechanism. As a result, less computational power and energy consumption are needed to maintain the Ethereum network. Now, here's what I think the big boys are up to. I think that today, I think the last week has been kind of like the exposure of Bitcoin and the problems, and I don't know that they can even change Bitcoin over from proof of work, and if they could, I don't know if they would. But I'm going to show you how this is the thing. This is what's been going on. Elon Musk highlighted it. Now, so here's the markets, okay? Right now, Bitcoin affects everything the way it has. That's just the way it's been, okay? The markets have been down like big time. We had as high as $2.5 trillion. Markets are more or less have been down over $1 trillion in 48 hours, okay? Now, let's look at what Mike Novogratz, this is the first clip of Mike Novogratz I've ever heard where it's almost like he's shying away from the Ethereum thing and he's going all in on Bitcoin.
Mike, I don't know if you saw JP Morgan out with a note that in many respects is sort of at odds with your comments over the past several weeks and months now about institutions wanting to move into Bitcoin. They're saying, in fact, it's the opposite, that people are moving back into gold. The big institutions are not interested in moving into Bitcoin. I know it's your business to be in Bitcoin and into crypto, but what do you make of that report?
It's interesting, right? I mean, we are seeing more and more institutions. We're having more and more meetings. We're seeing more and more people on board. And so, but listen, you know, we're a 400-person bank, and they're a 40,000-person bank. You know, and we don't talk to all the same institutions, I'm sure. I see a movement. You know, I was out with 2 bank CEOs in the last month, and both of them fascinated with DeFi. How do we get in? You know, how do we think about it? And so I just see an inexorable move from financial institutions and tech companies into the crypto space. You know, will it all be Bitcoin? Will it be Ethereum? You know, there'll be. I think Bitcoin will preserve its lane as a store of value, and I think you'll see more and more, you know, people still buying into that. But it's the rest of the ecosystem, I think, where you're really going to see kind of dramatic moves over the next, you know, 18 months, you know, 3 years.
All right. Well, I've kind of given you my Bitcoin theory, but let me tell you what I think this is all really about. I think it's always been about gold. And I think it's always been about solving gold's transportability problem. Remember, gold is God's money, all right? I think gold's always going to be God's money. It's been the money of these central banks since their beginning of their existence. But it has the transportability problem. How do you fix that? Put it on the ledger. You're not going to put it on Bitcoin. That's not going to happen. So yes, I think Bitcoin's going to be allowed to survive, but I think that the appeal of it will be less and less. I've always believed that this was about XRP and gold and XLM and solving gold's transportability problem. In other words, you can put gold on the ledger, but and then you've got smart contract functionality is going to be an important thing. DeFi is going to be an important thing. I don't think that Ethereum is going to be the one that wins. I think technologically it's already going to be behind others like Flare and some of these others, or Cardano as well. But look, I'm not even going to show that one, but let's go look. So just to further this proof of work point, this is in the middle of this downturn from Binance. Ethereum and ERC20 withdrawals are temporarily disabled due to network congestion. Proof of work does not work, folks. Thank you for your patience and apologies for any inconvenience caused. And we all know about the gas fees. And then I tweeted this out. I said, because Kraken had the same problem, folks, right here. The history books will tell the story of how this week finally exposed that proof of work does not work. Now, I think that Kevin O'Leary nailed this about a month ago. Let's see. Actually, was this wasn't on May 19th. Maybe it was. But anyway, let's listen to what I think that Kevin O'Leary was prophetic in what he said. Listen.
Well, I am using it as a hedge. I'm considering it as property, and I think it acts that way. I mean, it is volatile. There's no question about it. There is a big problem brewing in this space because I've mentioned this a couple of times.
This is from
when I
May 3rd.
disclosed that I was moving to 3% weighting, I got a mountain of calls from institutional investors saying, "Wait a second, where are those coins from?" And I said, "Well, I mean, everybody knows you can tell the time of creation, but you can't tell location of creation." Because currently 60% of coins mined in Bitcoin come from China, where they don't care about sustainability and they certainly have issues around human rights. And so there are many institutional clients that do not want to own so-called blood coin from China. And as a result, we've got a really interesting situation emerging that, the actual provenance of a coin over time, one that's mined sustainably, one that's mined in a jurisdiction that supports human rights and everything else, the ethics committee's approval could be worth more than just a generic coin that can't prove its provenance. And I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I have certainly shifted my holdings. I don't own random, ETFs with blood coin in them. I know the provenance of where my wallet coins were mined now, and that means I've had to take equity positions in miners. I've had to start investing in them with the covenants in place that I would like to be paid back in a royalty of a clean coin. And I don't know if I'm the only person dealing with this. I suggest not. There is a huge problem going on in this industry, and you're going to see it come to a head at the June 4th, June 5th cryptocurrency here in Miami, crypto conference here in Miami. The industry has done a poor job.
That's an interesting thing. That'll be all eyes on Miami. Now, what did I buy today? This might surprise you. I had money sitting in my Roth IRA, not on iTrustCapital, but I have a Roth IRA at a traditional brokerage firm as well, and I had money sitting there, and it was actually money I had sold out of a Bitcoin trust a while back, and I had this money sitting there, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, so we got Ethereum that's way down this morning. You can't, in a traditional, there's really not a lot of options in an IRA in a traditional brokerage firm. Really, you got Grayscale's trust, but only two of them are open to the public, 2 or 3, and they're all proof of work related. Well, I decided to put it into this Ethereum trust, and the symbol's ETHE, by the way. The reason I did is because I think that they're not done with Ethereum yet. I think there's going to be a run up to Ethereum, to the introduction of Ethereum 2.0. And for that reason, I bought it, that reason alone. I don't think Ethereum 2.0 is going to win out against some of these others like Cardano, but I think that there's a lot of powerful people that are going to be behind it and pushing it all the way to there until that Ethereum 2.0 comes out and maybe even beyond. And for that reason, I think there's going to be some money made in that. That's why I did it. And because my options were limited, if they had the XRP or the XLM trust, that's what I would have been buying. But they don't have that in retail, to my understanding. Okay, this right here, I was like, whoa, this made me a little uncomfortable. Michael Saylor, entities I control have now acquired 111,000 Bitcoin and have not sold a single Satoshi. Bitcoin forever. Well, for your sake, I hope it's forever, man. But I can't imagine what it's like walking into that boardroom. Mike Preston sent me this. Uphold was experiencing system issues this morning. These are the kind of things that happen in major surges and major declines, because it wasn't just them, it was Coinbase as well. Happens every time that I've been in one of these type days. And then finally, I wanted to bring this to your attention. This guy has been putting out a lot of interesting tweets. And I hope he's right. I don't know one way or the other, but he says, countdown for settlement. He's talking about the Ripple SEC lawsuit. Today, the MOU ruling has been pending for 19 days. And then Rob XRP had tweeted, the judge will take everything under consideration. She will have a response within a few days. All other issues will not be dealt with today. In other words, the judge never ruled on the MOU issue in that SEC Ripple case, and still has not, 19 days later. And I guess Stefan's point here is that this is what part of the reason he thinks we might be heading to a settlement is that they may be working it out and there's no need for her to rule on the MOUs. I hope that he is right. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that I hope we're near a countdown to settlement. Thanks for listening.